Best lens for event photography. I've photographed quite a few Gundog events for the Kennel Club over the years, which has been outdoor dog photography or event photography. I've done a wedding. I actually love wedding photography. I don't photograph weddings, but yeah, I have done one. I've been on quite a lot of wedding photography courses. One was a 5-day course, 4 nights I stayed over, because wedding photographers are creative. That's why I went on the course. I knew that at the time, and I ended up doing a wedding for somebody. But in my opinion, from the events what I have done, there's 2 lenses what the wedding photographers had and what I use for the dog photography events, which is the 24 to 70mm 2.8 lens and the 70 to 200mm 2.8 lens. Canon is what I use. You can have any make you like. And what you'll also find is you can buy other brands. So say you're using Canon or Nikon or Sony, you don't have to have the lens make to match. You can have different brands. Like with your Canon you can have a Sigma or a Tamron. I think you can even have a Sony lens on your Canon camera. You'll need a little adapter. But yeah, for events, 24 to 70 and 70 to 200mm are my main lenses. If you've seen any of my other videos, I used to have my 400mm, which was a 5.6, which I did use for some of the Kennel Club events and other dog events I've done. But it's gone. I've just traded it in. And I'm going to tell you what for. I'm dead excited about what's coming. But that was a second-hand lens, that 400mm lens, which I used for the events, and had some mega shots. The only problem with that lens, as I said in the other videos, is you needed light for that to work. If the light was low or you were in the woods, you struggled with it. You were not going to get your shots in focus, but I had loads of award-winning images with that 400mm 5.6 Canon lens. The best lens for event photography you'll need will depend, like I've said, on, if I've said it, on what event you are doing. But over the years, many years, I started off with real cheap stuff. I just kept moving up. And I wouldn't like to think how many lenses I've got through. I've tried so many different lenses. I prefer Canon. I use Canon and love Canon L series lenses because you can get other brands like cheaper equivalents, which I've tried. I think when I was going for the 24 to 70, I got a second-hand Tamron, and I really did not like that. Not that anybody else using it, it's wrong. I just like my Canon lenses. But I have bought from all over the place. I have bought second-hand, brand new, from proper places in the UK, to brand new lenses from eBay, what clearly are coming from China, and they can take weeks to turn up. You think you've lost your money. Dodgy websites. I've bought lenses from all over the place. But after that 400mm lens, I mean, the video is not about buying second-hand gear, but I really rate second-hand gear. 1, because of trading stuff in, and I know how good my stuff is, what I trade in. And 2, that 400mm 5.6 lens I bought proved it. I bought it like new from a proper second-hand camera and lens dealer. Trade in your gear or just buy the second-hand piece of kit, and that was a mega lens. So yeah, you don't have to spend a fortune. You can get these two, the 24 to 70, which I class as your main event photography lenses. 24 to 70, 70 to 200mm in different makes. You can also get them both in f4. Because you'll hear all the time you need 2.8, 2.8. Yeah, you do. It's going to work really well in low light, but if you are stretching your budget, you can go and get an f4. I know a wedding photographer who didn't even own a 2.8 lens. So he had the 70 to 200mm lens in an f4, and I think I've not come to this one yet. She had the 24 to 105 f4. Her photos were amazing. You do not have to have the 2.8. Now going back to event photography lenses, in my opinion you need more than one. You need more than one lens, you need more than one camera. Whatever event, I've always gone out with two cameras. The 1DX and the 70 to 200mm lens, and then I have the 60, what's videoing now, and that will either have the 24 to 70 on, or it would have had the 400mm on. Same for if you're doing sports. They will probably have the 24 to 70 for the wider shots, the 70 to 200mm lens, because that is the lens to have. It's so flexible. And then say the sports photographers will have the 300 or 400 or even a 500 lens maybe. You know, if you're photographing a big football match, compared to a wedding photographer who will again most probably have two camera bodies, 24 to 70, 70 to 200, and some of them might even have a 50mm around the neck or 35mm prime lens. One lens will do the job, it just depends. As a wedding photographer, not me, but as a wedding photographer, by going out with more than one lens, a wedding photographer has to think album pages, because that's what they're usually selling at the end of the day, is an album. And the more shots, they're thinking of double page spreads all the time to create more pages within the album to sell. And they'll have more lenses to create more shots. They might even have a macro lens in the bag for all, like the ring shot. That's another lens. It doesn't mean you have to go and get one, but you're just creating more shots. You're going out to do a job, aren't you? Now what I've got here as well is the 16 to 35mm lens. That, again, that's wider than the 24 to 105 and the 70 to 200 because it's 16mm. I know a landscape photographer, or he's a wedding photographer, and he has this lens for his landscape photography he does, but then uses it for weddings for group shots. You can still do group shots with these two. At 24mm, you're just going to have to stand a bit further back. I got this for what do you call the plug holes. So I live right on the edge of the Peak District. I'm fascinated by the plug holes. I don't even like water. And I went to the plug holes with the 24 to 105 and it didn't fit in on a full frame camera. That might sound ridiculous, but I bought some cheap lens, what I didn't like, and I ended up, this was years and years ago, buying the 16 to 35mm lens for the plug holes in landscape photography. But it's a very good video lens as well. All these are. They'll have a dual purpose, most of them. So, whether I've confused you or not, but I do think for event photography you need two camera bodies, two lenses at least. Because you're going to go and do your main work with that, and at some point you're going to have some kind of awards or close-up shots with the 24 to 70. But yeah, they're good event photography. It's ace. And you don't need to go loaded up. Kind of like wedding photographers, you could do with someone giving you a hand. You can take more then, can't you? Take more photos, you can have a flash. Then you might not need a 2.8 if you've got a flash. So I hope that's helped. I think for me, if I had to only go out with one camera and one lens, it's going to be this. The 70 to 200mm lens for event photography. For what I do. You can do a wedding with that as well. But you can be a bit tight in a church. That's why you need that. There's so many different types of event. It might be a corporate event, but again you need wide, you need to get everybody in, don't you, if you're doing group shots. So I'm afraid. Nice. There's another lens, right? There's like, you can get like, what is it, 18 to 300. You don't get one of those. Then you've only got to carry one camera and one lens. Just depends, doesn't it? So yeah, for me, that's the best event photography lens. That's got all my shots. That's got, what do you call it, the awards. I have actually been out on a moor, so you've got vast area, but I still use that, and using that, I think it was actually on the 7D Mark II. I've still got that camera. I had a magazine shot with that wide shot of a bird getting up over the gun and the handler. So although I say my 400mm is great and in a massive, you know, area, I still went out that day with the 70-200 and the 24. What is it? 24-70. Yeah, and I got a magazine shot with that one. So you just need to know what shots you need, what shots you're going to take, as to what event you were doing, to then decide what's going to be most suited to you and suited to your budget. But yeah, second-hand gear is definitely worth a look. But the rated, like new, excellent, good, and start going down. You want as new as possible, don't you? If you're going to go down the second-hand route, but you need to know what you want first to then go and purchase what you need. So that's my little video on event photography lenses. I might do a new one soon when my new lens comes. I'll try it out. Go and get it calibrated, because that's what you can do as well. Go and buy it. Well, it doesn't matter what lens you buy, but get them calibrated to your camera. It's like getting them zeroed in, almost. Oh yeah, there you go. Best event photography lens.